Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me much pleasure to be here this evening. The Special Administrator, the Commercial Director for Digicel, the wonderful contestants, the Queen contestants, princesses and the kings, and all of you who are here tonight. I don't intend to make a very long speech, but just to say that it is wonderful to be back in Ba. I have to tell you, as somebody who is originally from the West but lives in Suva, it's always a great pleasure coming back to the West. And in particular towns like Ba, because Ba is a very unique town, as highlighted by your administrator and of course Digicel and the other people, that uniqueness of Ba comes about because of the fact that there is so much, within the diversity, there is so much mingling, there is so much acceptance, there's so much understanding and indeed tolerance, which in itself causes that assimilation that is probably unique to Ba and various other parts in the Western Division. There's some exciting times ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, and as I was watching the young ladies and the princesses and the kings, would-be kings, it made me think about what is happening, what is going to happen in the future in Fiji. And with such confidence displayed by these young people, I'm sure, and I'm sure you'll all agree, that we have a bright future ahead of us. Because what has actually happened in Fiji over the past 6 or 7 years, without this being a political plug or a political speech, is that Fiji has truly become quite liberalized in the way that we think, in the way we question things, in the way we look to the future, and indeed the vision that we have about our country. Of course, in things like technology, who would have thought about 7, 8 years ago, you could text a message for 5 cents, or even 2 cents, or you have 7-Up. These sorts of things did not even exist. So there are many things that have happened. Many of the younger people do not know about what were the conditions a few years ago. The train actually is agreeing with me, that's why I've got that hooter going. But I think this is what we need to reflect on, not just as a town but as a nation, that we are on the cusp, beyond the threshold of something very, very great. And we must all come together as a nation. We must all think alike, but we cannot ever think only up till our noses. We need to think 10, 15, 20 years ahead. These people who are here on the stage, many of them could be a minister or a prime minister or a leader or a mayor or a corporate director. These are many opportunities that exist for everybody, those amongst you sitting down there. And what we need to think about, in particular going into the elections, is how are we going to realize that? And who will make us realize that? It is only through a long-term vision, long-term goal, can we ever succeed as a country. So with those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate the Special Administrator, Praveen Bala, as you know, who's been very much part and parcel of the narrative or the makeup of Ba Town itself, but recently has been involved as the Special Administrator of Lautoka and indeed now Tavua. I'd like to, all of us to put our hands together for him, please, because he has put in so much time and energy, and so much vitality has gone into what he does. And there's very few people like that, I think, in Fiji, and we must always cherish people like that. I'd like to also congratulate Ba for the fact that he's over now 70 years old, and this carnival, I understand, is about 15 years old, the carnival? About 15 years old, and we look forward to another 15 years. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for that. I have always admired people who can stand up on the stage, do the catwalk, do all the movements, and be able to give a speech. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and I think we also should put our hands together for them, because they are raising funds, they are doing it for a good cause, but it takes a lot of courage. I could never do that. All the kings, I can tell you that, and also all the little princesses. And with their support and their family support and their friends and family support, and of course all of your support, I'm sure this carnival will be a wonderful success. I wish you all a very good evening. Vinaka, thank you.